Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
They often go unsolved, but tonight, San Diego police arrested 6 men suspected in a string of 20 armed robberies. Good evening, I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Derek Stahl in for Steve Atkinson. 10 News reporter Matt Boone was there as the SWAT team descended on an apartment in City Heights.
Police say they were able to track those suspects to this apartment complex here at the corner of Cherokee and University Avenue. They saw one outside this morning, thought he may be armed. That's when they called in the SWAT team.
With guns drawn, police surrounded an apartment building in City Heights, shutting down part of University Avenue.
Today at about 11, detectives were sitting at this address here at 3600 University, and they saw one of our suspects.
Captain Anthony Dupree says the suspects were wanted in a series of robberies over the past month and a half in the Mid-City area, as well as La Mesa and El Cajon,
where suspects were approaching pedestrians, some armed, and taking cell phones and necklaces.
The latest was a robbery Thursday night near SDSU. After breaking down the door, the SWAT team was able to coax the men out one by one. However, the last suspect did not come out willingly, police throwing a flashbang grenade to scare him out. It worked. In total, police say 8 people were inside, but only 6 were considered suspects. They say they already had arrested several other suspects earlier this week. No one was injured in the operation.
And police say they're still going through evidence, trying to figure out what was stolen. They haven't given us an estimation about how much was actually taken. Reporting in City Heights, Matt Boone, 10 News.
An incredible scene there today. Thank you, Matt. A San Ysidro man is being charged with assault on an officer after barricading himself inside his home. Police responded to a domestic violence call about 5:20 this evening in the 1800 block of Blue Have Court. When officers arrived, they say a man was throwing items out of his home before locking himself inside. Police made several attempts to get the suspect to come out before forcing them into the home. The suspect fought police as he was being arrested.
President Trump is sending troops to Saudi Arabia after drone and missile attacks blamed on Iran. Tonight, San Diego families are closely watching the rising tensions in the Middle East. 10 News reporter Anthony Purra spoke with a retired Rear Admiral. And Anthony, there are already some local service members in that region.
That's right. There are local families right now with loved ones in that area due to their normal deployment and that Pentagon move in response to this. You can see this fiery video here, the attack on Saudi oil facilities over the weekend.
As repairs continue on badly damaged Saudi oil facilities, President Trump approved troop deployment to the region. The Pentagon says it will be defensive in nature, focused on air and missile defense. Mark Balmert is with the San Diego Military Advisory Council. He's also a retired U.S. Navy Rear Admiral.
We understand that it's going to be air defense types of units. Those are typically Army units, and they're based in the South, Texas, Oklahoma, or the East Coast.
While he says the deployment won't have a direct impact on forces in San Diego, he notes there are San Diego families with loved ones already deployed in that region. The USS Boxer, which left in May, was involved in escalating tensions with Iran in July when it shot down an Iranian drone. The latest news from the Pentagon likely makes families more anxious.
It does create a little bit of uncertainty, and then there's even the uncertainty: will they come home as scheduled? Will the deployment be extended? And then communications slow down.
During the Gulf War, forces from San Diego were sent to the region.
There were quite a number of aircraft carriers, 5 aircraft carriers, a lot of ships, a lot of troops were there, the Marines from Camp Pendleton.
And while many can draw the comparison because of geography, Balmert says the situation is very different.
Everything we've seen so far has been very defensive in nature.
Now, it's unclear how many troops will be deployed, but Pentagon officials say, quote, it would not be thousands. In the Live Center, Anthony Purra, 10 News.
Anthony, thanks. A driver is in custody tonight after he plowed his SUV through a mall in Illinois.
Yo, this is not happening right now.
Police say the 22-year-old driver crashed through a Sears store at the Woodfield Mall in Schaumburg, Illinois. He then began driving around inside the mall. It set off all sorts of chaos inside, as you can see, and there were concerns initially there was an active shooter.
Woodfield's actually really good about giving out the pamphlets for procedures like this, active shooters, tornadoes, fire drills, all that stuff. So we were actually luckily really well prepared.
Authorities confirm there was no active shooter. Police say the incident may have been the result of a medical issue, but at this point they're still investigating.
Wow, scary scene there. And even through an interpreter, there was powerful testimony from the stand today as a judge ordered accused Poway synagogue shooter John Earnest to stand trial.
There was smoke. The smoke disappeared. I saw his face and recognized his face quickly. And he was standing like this with his weapon.
That's Almog Peretz, who was injured along with his 9-year-old niece during the shooting. In court, he identified Earnest as the gunman and described leading children away from the gunfire. Peretz's attorney says his client is having to do physical therapy from the gunshot wound and psychological testing weekly after being diagnosed with severe PTSD. With all the evidence laid out over the past 2 days, Earnest will be rearraigned in 2 weeks.
The county is warning of possible tuberculosis exposure after a confirmed case at Morse High School. The school district and county health are notifying students and staff and providing free testing. TB is spread from person to person through the air after an infected person coughs or sneezes. Most people who are exposed do not become infected, and TB can be cured with antibiotics.
And California is joining 22 other states suing the Trump administration over auto emission standards. The lawsuit aims to stop the administration from revoking California's authority to set its own emission standards. The White House says removing this will help to keep vehicle prices low. California Attorney General Javier Becerra says the White House is overstepping authority granted by Congress.
The Marine Corps has officially filed charges against 13 Camp Pendleton Marines accused of human smuggling and drug-related crimes. 5 of the Marines are directly accused of smuggling undocumented immigrants. The others face charges like failure to obey an order, drunkenness, endangerment, larceny, and perjury. They were all taken into custody last July. The Marine Corps says none of these Marines were among the troops sent to support Border Patrol along the southern border.
Hundreds of teenagers marched from San Diego High School to the Civic Center to join the Global Climate Change Walkout. This was one of 3,600 youth-led strikes happening worldwide 3 days before the United Nations Climate Summit. Their goal is to urge world leaders to take aggressive steps to combat climate change.
People need to recognize that there's an issue, and I think that those people are becoming the minority because science says that this world is dying, and most of us choose to believe science.
Several area school districts passed resolutions supporting the campaign. Parental permission was required for most of the walkouts.
It's the first time me and my wife have done anything like this.
This weekend, you can see Padres star Kirby Yates perform in a whole new way on stage. Sunday, he and his wife will host a night of stand-up comedy to raise money for a very personal cause. 10 News reporter Jeff Lasky reveals how Yates is turning one of the most terrifying moments of his life into laughs.
It's been the most amazing year of Kirby Yates' life, going from a journeyman pitcher to the Padres closer to the All-Star game. Off the field, he and his wife Ashley have 2 beautiful children.
She's healthy, our kids are amazing, they're healthy, and they're a bundle of joy, and that's kind of all you can hope for.
For a time, that seemed like more than he could hope for. Ashley felt her health slipping after giving birth to their first child. One night while pregnant with their second, she started making strange noises in her sleep.
It's like something I'd never seen before, so I didn't know really what to do. And
it grew into a full-on seizure.
It's the first time I'd ever been involved in anything like that, so yeah, and it's hard to see your wife and, she's pregnant with our son, and you have feelings that you never had before. And
he was definitely terrified. I obviously don't remember it, but I just know that he had a very hard time with it. I know.
After several tests, Ashley was diagnosed with epilepsy. It came as a total shock.
I didn't know it was random. I didn't know it could come any time, any age.
Ashley wanted to find a positive way to share her story, so she did it in the place where she feels most at home, on stage at the American Comedy Company.
I like to make people laugh. I like to have fun. So this just seemed like a good fit, and I want to continue doing that.
Sunday, Ashley and Kirby will host Comedy for a Cause. Ashley and other comics will take the stage, with Kirby and the Padres' biggest stars in the audience. They'll probably also be the comedians' biggest targets.
Here, I know they're big Padres fans, so I'm sure they've been following the season and probably have some good jokes. I did suggest a roast on Kirby, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen, so you'll have to come and find out.
I told them they can roast me as much as they want. It's fine. I enjoy to laugh, and I think I can take it pretty good.
Downtown, Jeff Lasky, 10 News.
Proceeds from the show on Sunday will go to the Epilepsy Foundation of San Diego County. Kirby says it's close to a sellout, but there are still a few tickets available.
Well, great cause, but comedy is great medicine.
Right. Hey, no kidding, right? Nothing good better than some laughter.
I agree with you.